Well, it snowed in Texas, which is a bit unusual, right? Especially where we're at north of Houston. We got about 3 inches where I'm at, which is significant. For those of you that are viewers from the north, you're like, that's nothing, that's a dusting, right? But today I wanted to try out a few things. I have the opportunity. It's a little bit below freezing right now, and so I wanted to do some cooking out in the snow and kind of enjoy nature. Today, I wanted to talk about this guy here, or this lady, an onion. If you're not a follower of the Townsends, that is an excellent, excellent channel, as well as Tasting History. I'll put the links below in the description because they're excellent channels. But recently on the Townsends, they discussed baked onions, and I wanted to do the same today. So I'm going to start a little fire. I've got my Dutch oven, and I'm going to cook this onion. Basically, they just say you bake it for 30 to 45 minutes. You can add butter or salt if you want, but that's pretty much it. So let me get my fire started here, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the history of the onion. Here's the plan. According to the Townsends and a few other things that I've read about baked onions, it's relatively simple. What you're going to do is I'm going to use a Dutch oven, though you don't have to. If you want to use an oven in your home, you can do this as well. About 350, I think should do it around 30 to 45 minutes. You got to keep an eye on it. But I'm just going to stick mine whole. You want to keep everything intact on these. Make sure the outer skin is good. You don't want to cut into it. Just leave it as is. After you're done baking it, you'll open it up and then you'll eat the inside. So today I'm just going to stick it in my Dutch oven. That's it. And stick the lid on. Now I'm going to put mine in the coals. I'm going to add a little bit of coal to the top. So if you've never cooked with Dutch ovens, you can heat from the bottom and the top so that you get more even heating. One thing I will say today, since I've been out in the snow and it's cold, is I've been keeping my Dutch oven warm. So I've been setting it next to the fire while it was burning. You don't want to set a cold Dutch oven or anything cast iron cold directly on to heat. That changing temperatures can really wreak havoc with some of your stuff. So we're just simply going to set this in here. Make sure it's good. Yeah, we're good. Oh, I'm getting a lot of smoke now. All right, I'm a little bit on uneven ground. That's okay. I'm going to take my handle off so it doesn't get hot. That's just me, and I can hook it back on later. All right, so I'm just going to sit here and monitor this, watch it as it cooks, maybe add a little bit to the top, and we'll see how it looks when it's done. But let's talk about onions for a minute. Onions have kind of a fascinating history to me. I was looking up a little bit of the history of the onion because I just got curious after watching, as I said, the Townsends about baked onions. Onions actually date way back to early agriculture. You can find a lot of onions being grown all the way back to the Egyptians. So literally thousands of years ago that we've been cultivating onions. Now, where the origin of onions came from, we're not really sure. It looks like anywhere from kind of the Middle East to Southeast Asia, but you can find these in early Asian diet. We were growing them there. We were growing them in the Middle East. They essentially became can't even talk this morning. It's too cold. Prolific throughout the world very, very quickly. And one of the reasons why they did so well is because A, they're a root vegetable. You can grow them relatively well. And two, they last a long time when you dig them up. They don't spoil or rot very, very quickly. Now, with that being said, that kind of made it so that they could easily be transported. And that was something that was extremely important for all of early human civilizations. So an interesting little fact that I came across was how sailors would eat onions. Now, sailors, of course, were transporting lots of fruits and vegetables, mainly those that would not spoil very quickly, or they had to salt or pickle certain things to do so. But the onions, you could essentially just throw them in your hole, keep them relatively dry, and they would last for quite some time. But sailors would eat those. So figuring out about, drinking lemon juice or some type of citrus fruit to to prevent scurvy, people that were, well, I say people, sailors that were eating onions, that actually helped them prevent scurvy. Even though there's not a lot of vitamin C in an onion, it was enough to kind of help them prevent scurvy. So I thought that was pretty fascinating that this vegetable that you wouldn't normally think of being, really good for you in terms of scurvy was actually doing a pretty good job at preventing it. It's gone back in medicine, and we see today that onions do have some medicinal properties. They have some really good anti-inflammatory properties that, again, going back into kind of the history of medicine, you can see that cropping up, making your onion soups or stews, because again, food was medicine and still is even today. Now, one of the areas that I'm always interested in with my food and everything, as you might suspect, being a Hobbit and all, I like to eat, is what role it played in Tolkien's world. And if you look through, of course, Lord of the Rings, onions are they're not mentioned very often. They mention them in a stew and whatnot. But whenever I watched the video on the Townsends discussing baked onions, I was like, surely that's a Hobbit food. And so here I am out in the snow trying to make myself a baked onion. So, potatoes always get the notoriety from Lord of the Rings because, Sam's all into potatoes or whatnot. But for me, it's the onion. So I'm gonna let this set for a little bit longer. We've got about 45 minutes left on this, and then we're going to open it up and see how it looks. Okay, everyone, it is time to check on the onion. Truth time, I did have to come back and restart some coals because it did go out, but I got it back up to temp pretty quick. And so it's been about an hour, 15, I guess, total, but cooking time probably was right around 45 minutes for me. Your mileage may vary, but let's see what we've got. All right, here we go. Okay. I heard it sizzling earlier. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm not gonna dump ashes back in there. Yes. This looks awesome. Oh, it's a little burn on the bottom. That's okay. Oh, man. Yeah, let's pull this off. So as you can see, a lot of the outside came off all on its own, which is awesome. That's what we want. All right, so I'm just gonna peel back. Just be careful, it's steaming. I should have brought a knife. I didn't bring a knife, fail. Wow, it is super, super soft. Okay, so here we go. It's hot. That really sweetened up. Holy cow. So the Townsends mentioned butter and salt. Yes. Just yes. Honestly, even without butter and salt, this is so good. So even if you don't like onions, you should give this a try, and here's why. The onion flavor, I guess, I don't know what it is. The sulfides, I'm not a culinary person, I have no clue. It's gone. Like I don't taste it at all. You've experienced this before when you've cooked, oh my God, I'm getting attacked. When you've cooked with onions before, especially slow cooking, you notice that you lose a lot of that really pungent odor and that pungent kind of onion taste. Exactly the same here. This is really, really good. That's too big of a bite. I'm gonna eat it all. All right, gang. This has been an excellent. This has been an excellent cooking with the Hobbit today. ladies and gentlemen, go do this. I mean, you don't have to go dressed up as a hobbit, but it's a lot of fun if you do. Go make yourself a baked onion. They're so dang good. You don't have to go out and do it in your Dutch oven out in the middle of the forest, though it's a lot of fun. Stick in your oven, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, go for it. It's amazing. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it today out in the snow. And I'll see you next time.